Hi everyone, Martin here from martinsmayhem.co.uk. I hope you're all well. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this card. It's got a little bit of a water technique for the background and the butterfly, as well as a little bit of hand drawing. I'm going to be primarily featuring the Butterfly Brilliance Stamp Set, and there is coordinating dies, one of which cuts out the outline to cut the butterfly, which is easy peasy. So let's get started. In relation to this kind of card, I created it for the Stampin' Fancy Friday design team that I am a member of. So it is all ex-artisan design team members for Stampin' Up. You're going to need a piece of basic white thick cardstock, and you're going to put that in lengthways and cut at 10.5. Then on one of them, you are going to score at 14.8. You're going to go just over 14.8 just because of UK card sizes, and like so. Give that a little score and reinforce that with a bone folder, and then you have your standard C6 card top folded. Wonderful. On the other half, you see here, you're going to cut a matte layer measuring 13.8 by 9.5, like so, and that's just going to be your matte layer for your card there. Easy. The extra piece that you have is going to be used for your stamping later on, so make sure you keep that to hand. So yeah, as I was saying, Stampin' Fancy Friday have challenges each month that we create for. It's super fun. This month was a sketch challenge. I'll share the sketch over on my blog, but this is kind of what I did with the sketch, using that as inspiration, and you can kind of see there my plan. I'll just keep it in my sketch Mayhem, which is super nice and easy, along with some of my other sketches, some complete like so, some incomplete like so, but nevertheless. So you are going to need a clear block. So our clear blocks come in multiple of sizes. I'm using F for this technique, so you can see that's brilliant. I'm going to use two Stampin' Right markers. So we've got Gorgeous Grape and Tahitian Tide. Now try saying that 3 times over. So all I'm going to do is use my Stampin' Right marker and go directly onto the block, and I'm just going to scribble a load of ink down like so. So you can kind of see that there. There you go. And then Gorgeous Grape as well. I'm just going to go in, add some to different areas like so. No rhyme or rhythm with it. I don't just want it all blue in the middle and Gorgeous Grape or Tahitian Tide. So I'm just going to go in and add a little bit more Tahitian. And once that's done, you can use our mister to give this a spritz. Now, I'm using basic white thick cardstock, so it is a little bit resilient, but it doesn't like water. So you have to act quickly. So I've got my heat tool on hand, as you can hear, ready to go. So once I put that down and lift it up, I can heat set it, and it prevents a lot of bubbling. You might get a little bit, like on the example here, it's a little bit raised in areas where I didn't quite get to it in time, but it's worth it. Before we do this though, I have forgot, I need to do my stamping. So let's bring in, look at me jumping straight to the technique. What am I doing playing at? So your spare piece of card, basic white card, you're going to use stays on because we're using water. So I'm just going to open that up. I'm going to ink up my stamp. So I'm not going to ink up all of it. I'm just going to ink up the one that I want. Feel free to, if you want to make multiples. Making sure I've got plenty of ink on there because I want a nice solid impression. And then I'm just going to flip that over and stamp that down. Like so. It's a big old stamp, so I'm going to put some pressure behind it. And lift. Like so. And then I'm just going to die cut that out. Can't believe I jumped ahead. Professional all what. So bringing in my stamp and emboss machine. And I'm going to bring in my sandwiches. Does anybody else ever feel like they need bigger desks? Or is it just me? So I'm going to line up my butterfly with the die. And what I would say is spend the time in getting it right, because you'll only thank yourself later when you don't have to die cut another one. So I am using our magnetic plate that was available, but it has been removed from sale due to a couple of issues. What I would say is I've had no issues with it. Clearly I don't die cut enough, but I think it's a fab tool and I cannot wait for it to come back. So there you have your butterfly perfectly die cut. Can see I missed a bit of stamping, but these things happen. They happen. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of Tombow onto the back. Very thin. Like so. And that's going to go tacky quite quickly because it's warm. And the reason why I've done that is for when I do my matte layer, which I just lost. Bring that back. I want it to look as it does here, that there's no separation between the butterfly and the background. So by me kind of getting it ready and pushing it into the place that I want, having that tack, I can then do it all at once rather than doing the background, doing the butterfly, if that makes sense. I haven't explained myself very well. Not very good at this, am I? A deep breath. One of them days and I'm blaming the heat. It is warm. Got all the windows closed and it's like 36 degrees outside. So using my Mr. Spritzer even, I'm gonna apply the water. You want to get that ink moving. Can you see that it's pooling? That's what you want. And remember, have your heat tool at the ready. So I'm gonna put that down and then pick it up pretty quickly, so that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the butterfly now. Now don't worry that we've got this massive block because there's still plenty of ink here. So we can go back in, press it down, try to pick it up, bring it back, apply. And if you want more ink, just go back in with your Stampin' Right marker. So add a little bit there, add a little bit more purple. My purple's a bit dry, which isn't great. But, so Tahitian Tide and Gorgeous Grape. Apply some more and then pop that down. Picking up that ink, then lifting it up, and there you go, see? Okay, so that's that. I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine in a second just to flatten it out a little bit. But you can see there, you get that effect now. Admittedly, this one's a little bit more crazy. But you can see that the purple follows through here and here, which is what I kind of wanted to achieve. So let's move that out of the way. Give this a quick wipe with my hand because I've got nothing else. I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine again, take out all the little extra bits that were left behind. Now again, remember I said you can do all of them at once rather than just kind of leaving it. So I'm just going to pop this back on and run it through. Just to kind of straighten it out a little bit. Let's tuck the warping away slightly. There's still a little bit of warping, but we can fix that with the adhesion. So that's that element done. I need to do some drawing. So I added some hand-drawn elements to this because of a sketch, and I kind of wanted to achieve this kind of, how do you describe it, like tattoo effect style. So I'm going to sit down because I can't draw and stand at the same time. So with this in mind, I'm going to draw kind of two lines basically in the center with pencil, just because then if there is any issues, I can always go back. I'm going to do one there, one there, and one down here. Okay, so that's kind of my lines that you can see on the card, and then I'm going to be adding the circles. So the butterfly I'm going to be wanting roughly here. So I'll put that back on. I can see here that I'm going to want a circle. So I'm just going to use one of our layering circle dies just to create that circle shape there. And then I'm using a retired product because it's the right kind of size of circle that I want, and that's for 3 3/4 circle punch, which I've just kind of created a template almost. And I'm going to pop that underneath where I want it and draw around it there. Take that off like so. So now I kind of have that in place. I'm going to use my basic black Stampin' Right marker and the pen edge. Now I don't want this to be perfect, which is why I've gone in with the ruler first and pencil, because I want it to be quite sketchy and fragmented. So I'm just going to go over that line very lightly with my pen. And it doesn't matter if you skip a bit or it's thicker in places than others. Just kind of get that line in. And then this one, I don't want it all the way, so I'm going to meet that one there. Like so. And then with the circle, again, just tracing that line, not being overly delicate in relation to it. I'm just going to bring it round a little bit more, just so I can hide the edges. And then with this circle, like so. It's not perfect, but you don't want it to be. Or I don't want it to be anyway. So that's that kind of hand-drawn element done. So we can stick our butterfly on with some dimensionals. I'm going to use our big ones because there's a large area that I want to attach. And stick one in the middle, just to be safe. And pop that. Oh, I need to rub out the lines. Where is my rubber? I can't find my rubber, so I'll just use the end of the pencil just to rub out. The pencil line. That's got caught on that adhesive, but it's fine. So I'm going to pop this now into place. And again, don't worry about the warping because I have a solution for that. So the sentiment came from a Memories and More pack. I'll link to the actual kit in the description bar below. And it was kind of one of these kind of sentiment strips, or background, should I say. Now, there is only one of Make Your Magic, which is a little bit disappointing, but I quite like Take a Chance. So I think I'm gonna rob that one from it. So I'm gonna bring in my trimmer. And I'm going to kind of trim it out. I might have to go in with my paper clips afterwards, but that's okay. Or should we do Let Go of Regrets? Oh, I feel Let Go of Regrets would be good as well. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comments if I am making the right decision by going Let Go of Regrets. So I'm going to leave a little white border just to give me some room to play around with. I haven't quite cut that correctly. Let's snip off that end. Then I'm just going to cut along the black line. Like so. And then that's going to be stuck on again with some dimensionals. Again, I've forgotten what to do. This is what happens when you make cards several weeks before you come to record the video. Is I'm going to use my basic black Stampin' blend, and I'm going to use the brush tip end and against the cap just to create a little ink splatter effect in the background, and then you can attach your sentiment. So I'm going to stick a mini dimensional towards each end, but not quite, because I do want it to hang over, but I also want it to be adhered on. So let go of your regrets, like so. Now I'm going to adhere it to the card, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our foam adhesive sheets. So these are solid adhesive sheets, which is fab, because when you've got a card like this, which has got some warping, you can stick this as close to the edge as possible and it will adhere it down. So I'm going to bring back my trimmer. Move that out of the way. I'm going to go to just under 9.5 centimetres, like so. That hasn't quite cut through. So let's just cut that like so. And then I want to cut this in 2 halves. Roughly. I'm not going to cut through that because there's no point. So flip this over. You're going to take 1/2 and adhere it to the bottom. Take the other and adhere it to the top. like so. And you can see there, it's flattened it out. So bringing back our card base, we can remove the second sheet. Still quite flappy. So let's go back in and really reinforce that. Line it up. So I always line 2 corners and drop down the third. And now all what's left to do is to add some rhinestones. So I have got some of our basic rhinestones, and I'm just gonna follow kind of, because of a sketch had these kind of already laid out for me, it took the guesswork out. So I'm just gonna pop these as and where they were on this card. Slightly here. And then let's do a big one up here. I tuck it under the leaf, the wing, and that's there. Now, if I just bring that in and zoom in a little, you can see there that we kind of recreated it, but with a lot more going on. And I hope you enjoyed today's card. All the products shown in this video, apart from that punch, is available from Stampin' Up, and you can purchase it from my online store, which is linked below. I'll also link to the sketch Mayhem, so you can record your own sketches down below, and you can find me across all my social media in the description bar below. If you like this, can't get my words out. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give us a thumbs down. That's fine, I don't mind. I can take the criticism, but hopefully you love it. And if you want to create this card, share it on Instagram or Facebook, tag in @Martin Mayhem. Until next time, bye.